Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got just a little bit of cooking in the kitchen, some cleaning and stuff like that to do because the weekend's coming, and if you're anything like me, I really like to have the house kind of in order for the weekend so that way I can help my husband if there's stuff on Saturday that we're going to do. Got my little girl here. If there's stuff on Saturday we're going to do that, I don't know, I just want to be free to help him or just help with whatever, so get outside, stuff like that. So today we're just going to get the house in order and do stuff like that. I know growing up, the weekend was always like our big working time. We grew up on a farm. I grew up on a farm. So Saturday was always the day where, you know, you weren't going to be inside doing house projects. You were going to be getting outside and getting stuff done. So that's kind of like part of, that's always in the back of my mind, thinking about that. So anyways, need to put this little girl down for her morning nap. And then we can get going in the kitchen and cleaning and doing all that kind of stuff. And maybe exercising, we'll see. Anyways, thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Let me know in the comments what your weekends are normally like. Or do you see them as like times to get things done? Or do you guys work during the week so by the time the weekend comes you're just like, now's our chance to rest? Let me know, I'm really curious. I've got a meatloaf recipe I want to make and some pudding. A really fun pudding recipe, and then maybe some squares. I found a recipe. Well, let's see. We'll see if I have time to get to the squares. I have like got laundry and cleaning, mopping, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens today. But the main thing is the meatloaf, maybe doing some roasted potatoes, kind of getting stuff food prepped a little bit for the weekend. And then we'll go from there. It's you. It's you. Like usual, all my recipes will all be THM approved, so they fit into the THM lifestyle. And let me know if there's any you'd like me to try or are curious about. And sorry, if I ever forget links, make sure to comment because sometimes I'll get the video all done, edited, uploaded, and then completely blank on following through on links or stuff. So be sure to let me know. Anyways, let's get working. I just realized I should say too, my name's Krista. I'm a mom of 2 little kids. This is our youngest. And we just like to share what we're doing here, how we're living life in the desert, in our little home, and just how I do homemaking and stuff like that. So I hope it's encouraging to you. Alright, now we're going to go down for a nap, for real. I try to take advantage of this time when my little girl goes down for naps. I know in a couple months she may be getting to the point where she doesn't need to take morning naps anymore, but that's a good time for me right now just to go and get going on some projects like doing laundry and stuff. I'm still using that laundry soap, which I really, really like. I feel like it works well, and I like the way it has a little bit of a scent from essential oils. Usually I try to remember to go through all the pockets and stuff because there's often Kleenexes or stuff, and that's kind of not fun to clean off of clothes afterwards when it comes out of the wash. There were some things that I had to spot treat, like this pair of pants that had a giant grease stain on it. My favorite way to treat that is using Dawn dish soap, but sometimes I find treating stains are just not very fun. They don't always come out the best. I've been able to get like pen marks out and stuff using rubbing alcohol or hairspray. But when it comes to certain stains from food on baby clothes and stuff, that's something I'm still trying to figure out. Often my first question is this piece of clothing going to be something I'm going to keep or get rid of or something like that? So maybe that's not the best approach. But then I went and decided to go ahead and just pick up the house. The kids have something for pulling blankets off the couches and pillows. For some reason, I guess they don't think they belong on there. That's why I'm always picking them up. They're usually pretty good, though, at picking up stuff, especially the older one. When you say it's time to clean up, he's pretty good at picking things up. And then when it's time to vacuum, he likes to get in there. If he's up when I'm cleaning and stuff, he tries to come running over right away. I think he really enjoys pushing the vacuum, seeing the wheels turn and stuff like that. If I'm being honest, there are times when he gets distracted and that's when I try to vacuum real quick. But anyways, I needed to clean up from I'm not sure if this was breakfast or lunch. One of these days I decided to be really random and to eat like dinner for breakfast. That could have been this particular day. But my little girl, she really enjoys her food, if you can't tell. My mother-in-law had found some really, really cute little outfits for my little girl, so I put those away. Those will be really fun to have her wear. For some reason, the last while, we've broken multiple glasses, and this morning, I think it was, I had broken a glass, and so I was discovering little shards still on the counter, so that's why I took a paper towel, got it dampened it, got it a bit wet, and was just going over the counter meticulously, trying to find the rest of those shards. And then I started working on the dishes. What do you guys do when you're doing household tasks? Do you just have things quiet and just think about stuff, or do you put on music? Do you listen to podcasts? Do you listen to YouTube videos? Or do you listen to your kids? I don't know. I was just thinking about how everybody's different, and some people love to listen to podcasts and others are like, stop talking about podcasts. So there are days where I like to just work and just think as I work, and other days where I struggle to get things accomplished, and that's when I'll put like a podcast on, or I'll pull up a YouTube video, one that's kind of a chatty one, and listen to that while I work. It had been a little bit since I had mopped. I don't know, I feel like I'm always saying that. It's not one of those things that I do on a super regular basis. So, like, when I wasn't feeling as good early on in pregnancy, it was more like once a month maybe. But now that I'm feeling better, I have more energy, I'm trying to do it more often. That's the goal, at least anyways. I know I've said this before, but one thing I really appreciate about our house are the floors. These are original floors. When we got it, we did have to do a lot of restoration and sand it down. We should have just gotten a giant floor sander, but we used little belt sanders from Walmart, and we burned through the motors of a bunch of those. I remember my shoulders hurt so bad because you're pushing down on them. You're like kneeling, pushing down on the little belt sander, and I didn't even do a lot. Like, my husband and brother-in-law, they did the living room and a bunch of the kitchen, and then I did the bedroom, and my sister also helped, and then we did some of the kitchen too. But one of those things definitely where you're not going to regret putting in the work for that kind of a thing. There are some places where I think we need to revarnish, but for the most part, I'm very, very grateful that we have these floors. I was trying to work in a hurry because the kids were hanging around, and I didn't want our littlest one especially getting too close. So just with the chemicals and cleaning, so I was trying to hurry and get it done real quick before she got too involved. Another thing I'm really grateful for is this closeline drying rack thing that we got. I think we got it last year, and it works really, really well. On this particular day, it got actually really windy, and there's a way to tighten the wires up at the top, and so I was able to keep everything from blowing away. And you'll see a clip here in a little bit. It got crazy windy, but everything held up. The clothesline didn't fall, so that's great. I probably should have a better way of attaching it at the opposite end, but so far it's worked pretty good. I can leave a link for it in the description. I think it was maybe a Mother's Day gift last year to my husband. I was like, hey, can we get this for a Mother's Day gift? I think it was maybe $60, something like that. We actually maybe got it a couple years ago, but just last year we started using it, and it's been working awesome. I really, really like it. Some people were saying that it can get worn down by the weather, but I just always make sure to reel it back up whenever I'm not using it, so that way it's not getting hurt by the elements. After doing some cleaning in the back entrance, then I moved into the bathroom. And you guys, yeah, that was kind of grimy. I've been giving the kids more baths lately, just with it being warmer, them being outside more. And also, to be honest, it's a great activity for them when maybe I'm feeling pretty worn out and they're getting grumpy. It always seems to cheer them up to put them in the bathtub. They really like that. So it works out for both of us. I get a chance to breathe a little bit, just kind of sit, watch them, work on my computer or whatever, and they enjoy splashing and playing in the water. It's pretty cute. I found it seemed like the easiest way to clean it was just actually to get in the bathtub and stand in there. I remember when I worked at a Christian retreat center before I was married, that my back would get the most sore when I was washing scrubbing tubs. Of course, making beds kind of makes your back sore, but there's something about like leaning over the edge of the tub trying to scrub the other side. Yeah, so it was just much easier to get in there. Plus I got my feet clean this way too. And it was kind of cute. My little guy wanted to help, so I gave him a brush or whatever, and he was helping too. It was pretty cute. If you haven't noticed in past videos, just with involvement with the kids, one of our goals is for our children to be active and productive. And so that's why even just at 2 years old, we're trying to encourage our oldest just with helping. And even though he doesn't do a very good job, obviously he makes a lot of messes and spills and different things, but wanting him to just learn the importance of helping out, cleaning, and just being part of some of these things that you got to do in life. So that's why he's often involved. And it'd be, of course, a lot easier just to shove him and give him an iPad, or I don't know, give him a toy or something. But I was like, that's not going to work in the long run. That's not going to help. So that's why I've never really gone that route with the kids. They all probably wouldn't know what to do if I gave them a cartoon to watch or something. But anyways, I just never wanted to start that. Now maybe, like last time the kids were sick, we did put like Curious George or like farm tractor stuff on, but apart from that, they haven't really watched cartoons, so I just haven't wanted to cultivate an appetite for that kind of thing for them. Not at this point, at least. The cleaning is essentially done. I want to make a meatloaf. I'll share a similar recipe in the description. I can't share the exact one because it's from the Trim Healthy Mama cookbook, but I'll link a similar one. And then I think I want to do a granola, not a granola. Okay, first I want to do a chocolate pudding, and then that one's kind of fun because it's dairy-free and gluten-free. I think all those. I'll also double check. I'll have a link for that. And then I might do like a peach crisp or something. We'll see. I know my husband likes peach crisp, and it's really good with whipped cream, so that might be a really good dessert for Sunday. So anyways, let's make some, what are we making? Meatloaf. Let's make some meatloaf. I'm gonna go ahead and slice these up. So we have just some potatoes, roasted potatoes for a side. One thing I have wondered about is how a lot of people use aluminum foil, and just how they say that's really bad for you. And so I kind of wonder, like, why do we do that? I say we because I do that myself. So why do we do that if we know it's so bad for us? Is it just because we don't want to clean the pan? Is it just because I don't want to clean the pan? Is that the whole reason, to make things easier? It's like, it's supposed to make it easier, but in the end, is it worth it? Is it better for us? Let me know what you guys think. I was also thinking it could have to do with non-stick bakeware, how you cannot use heavy metal scratchers on them, and if that's why people don't like, if that's why people use aluminum so much, because it's really hard to scrub your pans if you can't get a good scrub on them. I was really glad. I think, so we drew names at Christmas, and my dad, I think, had my name, so he gave me this pan. It's a stainless steel pan, so I'm hoping over time to kind of build up my arsenal of stainless steel cookware, stuff like that, so that way I can have it last a long time. But I like using Barkeeper's Friend as my cleaner for pans, because things come off just really, really, really easy when you do that, when you use Barkeeper's Friend. So, I mean, once you know about that, then it's like, oh, why would you use foil? The only time I really see using foil is maybe if you need to cover something in the oven, or if it's a freezer meal, which I really don't know how to get around. That's gross. I don't know how to get around not using aluminum in the freezer. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead, a little bit of olive oil, salt, and throw this in the oven. I just drizzled some olive oil on them and sprinkled some salt, and then threw them in the oven and just kind of kept stirring them and checking on them every little while. So for the egg white pudding, I was thinking I would have that for snack, but I obviously wasn't thinking, because I should have had it in the fridge by now. It's the kind of thing where you want it to kind of set a little bit, put it in the fridge for a bit. So, here we go. So it's an easy chocolate pudding. It's a light snack. There's no carbs or fat. So if you're someone like me where you're pregnant or nursing or something, I'm not nursing, but I'm pregnant, and so I would probably add chocolate chips or something to it to add a bit of fat. Or peanuts. I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and make this. Here's the recipe for those of you that don't want to look up the link, but you're just curious to see what's in it. You can just pause the video and take a look at that. For the egg whites, you want to have them, you want to cook them. Some people do that on the skillet. I prefer to do it in the microwave. It just seems easier for cleanup. So I've got a cup there. I'm just going to throw it in the microwave, do it for like a minute or two at a time until it's fully cooked. Okay, so here we go. Here are the egg whites. Pretty hot, so I'm going to throw this and all the other ingredients into the blender, and then it's going to go into the fridge in a container to chill. A little bit of MCT oil, about 1 teaspoon or so. Some super sweet. Okay, my almond milk went really weird. For one thing, it froze in the fridge, and Anyways. I would use black cocoa powder, but I ran out of that, so just using regular today. About a half a cup of almond milk. Yeah, this was so good. Just a heads up though, MCT oil will give you energy, so I don't recommend eating it before bed. Up more in the fridge as it cools down. In the instruction sheet, this is to let it chill for like 30 minutes, which is shorter than I remembered, so that's awesome. This still might make it like an afternoon or an evening snack, we'll see. Because you really don't need any special ingredients. You could just use, if you have allulose, stevia, erythritol, xylitol, any of those, you could use any of them practically. You just want to look up online the conversion amount so that you get the sweetness you want and not like too sweet. But yeah, I think this is going to be delicious. Sometimes when I've made this, it doesn't taste as good right away. Like it needs to really sit. It really tastes eggy, but for some reason, maybe it was the brand of egg whites I used, but this tastes really good. So let's get this in the fridge to chill. Now it's time to make some meatloaf. The recipe that I'm going to do today comes from Healthy Table. It's called Mia Meatloaf. It's a good old S. Absolutely delicious. Let's find it here. That's what it looks like. So anyways, let's get going on this. You can find it on page 214. I have my little girl right at my feet, so she's playing, having so much fun. The recipe doesn't call for cauliflower, but I'm just going to do it to add some extra veggie to it. I'm going to blend it up with the rest of the ingredients for the meatloaf. Okay, this is a totally different random note, but my little girl, she won't nap the same if I put her to bed at the same time as my oldest. So he goes to bed like at noon, and then she goes to bed an hour later, and then she has a great nap. Wow, look at my onion. We got some fresh onion here. Essentially got some green onion going on. Might as well throw it in there. Does that mean this isn't going to be any good? Huh? Well, it's kind of shriveled more than normal, but it's workable. You guys ever hear people talk about all the benefits from eating onion? There's a lot of them. Okay. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Let's just go ahead and see what we got going on here. Yeah, no. We're not worrying about that one. I wonder if they must have gotten wet under the sink or something. Yep. Nope. They're all like this. Check the big one. Yeah. I guess if I had a garden garden. I'd want to plant these with how they're growing. Well, I guess it's nice we had that one. Let's check the last one. Oh, this one's pretty good. Throw that in there. Yeah, no, I can use this one. Just peel off a couple of, oh my word, I took the garbage out. And my little 9-month-old, she just about stepped into the cupboard. What are you doing, little one? You having fun? She doesn't usually get into that cupboard. I was just telling my husband how different our kids are and how it's really fun. I don't think our oldest ever went into a cabinet like that. Alright. I think it may be time to put her to bed. You ready for your nap? For a second there I almost forgot where my baking blend was. It swapped out containers. There it is. It ends up, I don't have any fresh garlic, but thankfully I have some back, if you remember when I minced up garlic and then froze it into little cubes. So thankfully I got these, so we'll just throw these in. Now this I'm just going to mix up with the meat. Okay, so I really like my mom's spatulas, so I found this one. I don't remember where I got it. Maybe at a thrift store, or maybe from like an auction. It may have been with a miscellaneous box of stuff. But I really liked it. However, I learned the hard way, not all rubber spatulas are made to the same level. And this one does not work for hot things. See that? There's some like silicone spatulas that you can use like on a skillet that are heat proof. This one melts. Anyways. Yeah. Alright, this may gross you up. I'm just going to use my hands. It's just going to go faster. Just going to work it all in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this into two. There's my, I may need to put that in the microwave. I'm going to split this into two containers. So we'll have one Sunday for lunch. This is really cold actually. Why is that? Oh, it's probably because the meat is cold. It's really cold. Anyways. Now I'm going to use a wooden spoon. Okay, I was saying, I'm going to throw half of this in the freezer for a freezer meal. The other half we'll have Sunday. That's what I was trying to say this whole time. Guess I'm going to use that again for the sauce. One thing I highly recommend is getting, after talking about all that aluminum stuff, is getting some of these to have on hand. They help so much on evenings where you just don't feel like making dinner, you don't feel up to it or something. You just pull out one of these. Usually I can tell about by midday if I'm going to be up to making dinner or not. Which, there just are some evenings where it's a challenge. There's no shame in that. So, let's see. The reason these are so small is because we don't need a lot of the main thing for the meal. That's one way to save money is to not make the meat, or the main course, So, it would just be, it's something that we would have alongside. Maybe green beans. I may do like garlic bread with this. Roasted potatoes, we'll be doing that Sunday. Stuff like that. I'm doing this for Sunday because we really did not need a very big portion. Now I just need to do the sauce for the top. So this is really handy because it's much cheaper to buy just a big can of tomato sauce. So that's what I did. I just got a big can, divvied it up into 1 cup portions, which is essentially 1 can. And then it's the day you go to make it, just pull it out, defrost it, it's ready to go. It's kind kind of nice knowing you're saving money as you go along. Okay, it only calls for a 14-ounce can of diced tomatoes, crushed, so I'm just going to use half of this. There we go. I'll have to find another use for this. Maybe freeze it. Cheese, basil, tomato sauce. You know it's going to be good. Of course, you always got to have some sweetener with tomato sauce. Have you guys heard it's less acidic if you put some sort of sweetener or something in with it? I found that very interesting because I have a really hard time eating stuff with tomato paste, tomato sauce. It just burns my mouth like crazy. Like it hurts so bad. Which apparently not everybody deals with, but when I was younger, if we ever went out, I did not want to go to Wendy's. Not that we would ever go out, but if we did, I did not want to eat out at Wendy's because we usually get their chili and I just could not. It hurts. It like burnt so bad. Maybe it's one of those things where like cilantro, where some people say cilantro tastes like soap, and others say it doesn't. I don't know. You're actually supposed to mix the sauce into the meatloaf, which if I had been following the instructions, or if I had read ahead, I would have just mixed it up in the bowl. But this will work. So my question is, would you guys try something like this? Or is it already like a staple in your house doing meatloaf? It's one that I forget about, but it's one we really enjoy. So when I was going through the cookbook this week, meal planning and stuff, I was like, I should do that one. It's so easy to throw together. Now we just top with the rest of the sauce and then put some cheese on. More recently, I had not been freezing more recently I had not been cooking the freezer meals, just throwing them in the freezer as they were, which I do not like doing anymore. Like essentially I would just take this and throw it in the freezer, wrap it up and freeze it like raw. But when you're in a hurry, say it's Sunday afternoon, you kind of forget about dinner, so you pull out, or you forget about lunch, so you pull out your freezer meal before church, come home like 2 hours later and it's still frozen. And then you have to cook it the whole way, so yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and cook them all right now. And then once they've cooled, throw them in the freezer. Okay, you're supposed to put cheese on the top. I think I'm only gonna do cheese for one. And then the rest I won't, and we'll just put cheese on when you pull it out of the freezer. All right, that's about enough. So according to the recipe, there's gonna be a lot of fluid, probably a lot of fat from the beef, because it wasn't a super low fat, unfortunately. I'll be pouring a bunch of the fat off. But let's go ahead and let's throw these in the oven along with the potatoes that are in there right now. So now that's in there for a while. I'm gonna clean up and we'll see what's next. One of my favorite things about summer is definitely the freshly dried laundry. I remember back home we lived close to a whole bunch of dairy farms, and so there were certain days where you would not want to hang your laundry out because they'd be spraying manure on the fields, and so then your clothes would smell like that essentially. But out here we don't have to worry about that. Nothing like that crisp, kind of crunchy feeling from freshly dried clothes, and that smell just good. I don't know how else to describe it. Once the meat was done, I went ahead and poured the fat off and then stuck the 2 aluminum pans in the freezer so we'll have them on hand. Then we had the main dish for dinner on Sunday, and it was yummy. My little girl, she just scarfed it down. Everyone thought it was pretty good. Oh, the last thing to do is to fold the laundry, so let's get that done. I made a little, is it a cardinal sipper? I'm not sure. It's from the Sheeta's cookbook, but it's basically, no, it's a pina colada. So it's like coconut and pineapple. I'm bending down because I don't want to lift the camera up because I'm going to go laundry. So anyways, let's go do that. It's always a race to get the laundry taken care of before the kids come because they're still learning about not knocking piles over and pulling everything apart. If you have little ones or little siblings, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Also, my little girl, she really wanted to drink some of my little sipper, so that was kind of cute. She thought it was really good. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Let me know if you think you might make the meatball recipe. Meatball. No, we're having meatballs for supper. If you think you might make the meatloaf recipe, let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next week's video. Bye.